Here's to hugging corners, not cutting them. To grinding away, not grinding to a halt. Here's to those who stay true to the old saying, if you want something done right, you do it yourself. From Tallboy Storage to the latest line of extreme grip hand tools, Craftsman is there when it matters.
Good evening and welcome as the World of Outlaw Craftsman Sprint Car Championship Series makes its 7th stop in its championship here at the capital of sprint car racing here at Knoxville. Randy Chinitz and Cam Walsh bringing you all the action in this one. And Cam, big shakeups in the championship over the course of that last round, and that means Tim Ryan has himself a nice 30-some-odd point gap to Alex Bergeron in second. The first breakaway we've seen out of those championship contenders all season long.
Yeah, absolutely, and it just goes to show you what can happen if you don't make the finale and what can happen if you have an incident. Now we're here at Knoxville, and I'm going to tell you, Randy, very different environment we have here. Most of the time you're on the throttle. I don't think there's a time when you're really off throttle unless you're making a maneuver, probably at least until the track gets worn in. And I think that means that our front runners, our quote, your usual people up out front, are probably going to have a bit of an easier time here. They're not going to have to worry about working their way through the traffic or anything like that, or perhaps starting in the back, unless, that is, they have a bad qualifying time.
This is, of course, one of the driver favorites in terms of this racetrack, is points were up on your screen just a moment ago, but that's showing right now in qualifying times, Cam, because, well, I mean, it just changed up. It was initially top 3, separated by 2 thousandths. Matt McKinney, the 51 car, someone most people would identify, I think, as a bit of a late model specialist, trying to put in a fantastic performance at Williams Grove. He goes to the top by just about half a tenth of a second, 600, not half a second. From Matt McKinney, he goes to pole position currently with about a couple minutes left to go. So some people putting in some impressive performances here for the second trip to Knoxville.
Absolutely. I mean, the only car to go in the 15.3s. I mean, that is lightning quick, especially here at this fairground type circuit, of course, normally used for, say, horse racing. Well, we got plenty of horses out on the racetrack in these 410 wing sprint cars. But I think it's interesting to note, Matt McKinney, yeah, late model. It was just a white late model car. Now, this one here brandishing a bit more names on it, a bit more sponsorship, but also running 5th place in the championship, tied for 4th with Cameron Dance. So, I mean, he keeps doing good. He might break into the top 3 if he keeps doing these good races.
Yeah, especially if he can. Right now he's guaranteed at least second because only one person owes us a qualifying time, and it's your championship points leader, the only car on track at the moment. Number 98, Altus Esports Machine, puts in his first hot lap. He's going to go to a 16.157. That's not going to be very good unless you're trying to qualify dead last. So the 98 car, last trip through this racing circuit, gets it right down to the berm. He's up against the wall on that first lap. Let's see what he has on lap number 2. He's going to go to a 15.468. So Tim Ryan, a not so traditional bad qualifying from him. I think that's the first time in a couple seasons, or excuse me, in a couple weeks we've seen him outside of those top 3 spots. He'll only qualify about, I believe, 7th fastest. So Matt McKinney will have the pole position tonight after a fantastic run at Williams Grove. Maybe this 51 car has found something in the setup because he's gotten bad fast in recent weeks.
Yeah, I mean, and right now he just got on the pit lane. They're getting ready for heat number 1. First thing he did was he just loaded that wing. He just pulled it all the way to the front. So he must have something up his sleeve here, as this car is the only one, as we said, to go into that 15.3. When you're talking about a world championship series, that is absolutely stunning.
definitely is, as these guys get ready to roll off. So let's go down the starting grid for heat race number 1. Matthew McKinney, the pole position tonight, will be starting inside the number 12 of Alex Bergeron, with Tim Ryan and AJ Neben on road number 2. The starters in second and third have to be the favorites pretty much for the night, but 51 car definitely has something as well. Rusty Kruger and Dan Smolders are on row number 3. Adam Elby and Toby DeBeal on row 4, with Ryan Pace bringing up the tail end of the field. It's going to be a 3 heat race show, which means that 12 cars will go directly from these heat races to the feature event, top 4 in each heat. Then the top 8 cars from the last chance qualifier will punch their way in there as well. So, going to be an exciting night, Cam, and it'll be interesting to see if this 51 car has the pace and race trim that he had in quali trim.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, well, for that McKinney machine, I mean, up front it says Logan CV Racing, and on the side it says Swindell Speed Lab. So who knows what they got cooked up in that. But you know what? You can never count out Alex Bergeron when he's starting on the outside. He loves running that outside berm, Randy. Let's see what happens here on a crisp, ready to rock and roll track.
Logan Seavey definitely loved the berm in his midget race that he ran this weekend. Went up basically all 4 wheels on the catch fence to avoid the crash. If you didn't see that clip, you need to follow dirt racing a little bit more. iRacing safety truck, safety of pit road, and that 51 car gets on it. Green flag flies, and Matt McKinney going to lead them into turn 1. Tim Ryan fighting with AJ Neben for that 3rd spot, but he's going to be able to get it. All our competitors pretty much single file out. First side by side is going to be between Dan Smolders and Adam Elby. This is for 5th and 6th, and it's going to be the 211 car who ends up getting it. That's Dan Smolders, and immediately fighting picks up out in front as AJ Neben's going to try to work up the inside of Tim Ryan, not be able to get there.
Yeah, and Adam Elby ended up losing. He hooked that inside berm, and that it didn't really throw Adam Elby. It slowed him up, but Toby DeBeal ended up having to completely abort the corner, and now he's going to be way in the back as Adam Elby's now fighting on the inside. He hits the berm again, does the exact same thing, and this time Ryan Pace is the one who's not on that one. So Adam Elby, he is really out of sync right now as Ryan Pace comes to the inside. All this means is that now it's only really got 2 cars that could perhaps chase AJ Neben, who's got that transfer spot. That inside berm, Randy, it's you wouldn't normally think perhaps it's there, but really, nor on your quote normal dirt track, you would see those very large white spray painted tires there marking that berm. Here, not so much, because it's again a fairgrounds track.
Yeah, but it is one of those things that if you get your sort of mental timing off, we're doing laps around this place, it's almost like hitting the wrong curb in a GT car or a single-seater. Just, it can just basically upset the weight transfer. You can sometimes get away with perching that left front up on top of it if you're in a late model, but not in these sprint cars. They're way too light, and the weight transfer a bit too much for these things, and of course the wheelbase still really, really short. AJ Neben still comfortably holds that final transfer spot. Rusty Kruger about a full second back in that 5th position, and these top 4 are not getting too racy with one another. Tim Ryan has reeled in Alex Bergeron this last half a lap or so maybe might try to make something of this to get that 2nd spot out, but as the white flag waves, he's not going to have much time to do so. Through 1 and 2 for the final time, goes to your leading pack. Tim Ryan takes a sniff up the inside of Alex Bergeron, but he's not going to be able to get the job done, and he's just going to single file it out. Through 3 and 4, make sure nothing happens. The 51 of Matt McKinney going to take the win in heat race number 1, and it was a very tightly contested heat race number 1 as your top 4 all separated by 0.6 of a second. That's Alex Bergeron in the 2nd spot, Tim Ryan, and of course AJ Neben, your top 4, and then Rusty Kruger, Dan Smolders, Adam Elby, Ryan Pace, and Toby DeBeal, the 9 cars in that first heat race. That was one of the most competitive heats I think we've had, Cam. All 9 cars within 4 seconds of one another. A couple little hiccups throughout, but everyone really close on the times over that 8-lap heat.
Absolutely, and I mean, I gotta say, Knoxville, always extraordinarily quick. That's why it's called the sprint car capital of the world, really. I mean, it always puts on a good show, but I think the big thing I took away, well, Alex Bergeron, that Team VLR machine, they're hooked up. Altus Esports, they're hooked up, and that 3rd base bar and grill, of course, Matthew McKinney, and he's hooked up. So, I mean, that's 3 separate teams, 3 separate groups. I mean, TTL Esports was there, too. I mean, we haven't even seen all of the drivers from all of these different teams, and I can say everyone's really quick as Heat 2 is now pulling out onto the surface.
Yep, Heat 2 rolls off, and it's going to be Chris Brenner, another driver who's found a good streak of luck and momentum late in the season. second quickest qualifier in the night. He'll start on the pole for heat race number 2 with Nick Cooper on the outside of him. Austin Selleman and Howard Weaver on that second row. A couple of VLR teammates, Justin Thomas and Bradley Cash. In row number 3 with Anthony Lepresto and Jesse Dawkins on row number 4. A lot of big names in this one, Cam, but a lot of big names for some separate reasons. I'd say in this heat race, you look at generally the way these drivers have run throughout the whole season, I'd argue there's a lot of inconsistency in this heat race.
Yeah, certainly, and it's kind of been a hell or high water for a lot of these drivers at this point. I think, championship picture, not so much for quite a few of these names, but you know what? You want to get yourself good, you want to get yourself hooked up, and you might be one of those situations where this is the only track that you might be really comfortable at, where you're really happy with the setup at. As the cars get ready to roll, Randy, we'll see who has the speed here, because this is probably going to be the fastest that we go all season long.
Going to be interesting to see how things work. iRacing safety truck gets ready to let that number 70 be in command of the field as they work through corners number 3 and 4. And Brenner gets on it. Green flag flies. Brenner breaks away clean. A little bit of contact for second and third as they come off toward the front straightaway. That was Selleman and Cooper making that little bit of wheel contact, and Selleman will slot himself into the second spot. I believe that's Bradley Cash, who's gone back a couple of spots on this start as well. Actually, I believe that Cooper can't quite see who it is, but top 4 all single file out, and Howard Weaver gets shuffled back early. He goes from 4th to 6th in that opening lap.
Yeah, and we got to see some great views of that there. The camera buried right down into the catch fence there. I love that, But for Chris Brenner, I mean, he jumped away. Now he's got 2 car lengths. Nick Cooper, he started on that outside. There was really he tried to see if he could nudge ahead, but he had to back off, and that is when Brenner dropped the hammer, and he really got a good jump. And for Austin Selleman, well, it's been one of those seasons where he just hasn't been having consistency. Can he be good here at Knoxville? Well, that VLR machine seems hooked up. He's reeling in Chris Brenner. He might try a pass on the outside, Randy.
Selleman isn't known for being very patient in these sprint cars. He likes to get the job done, and he's going to try to get it done. In towards turn 1, the slider sticks, but the 70 gets it back down to the bottom. Coming through corner number 2, Brenner's going to nose back out in front. In towards 3 and 4, Brenner's going to try to slide up in front of Austin Selleman, and Austin tries to get the run back down low. Doesn't quite have enough to get it done by the end of the front straightaway. Can he get it done through 1 and 2? Back into the race lead goes Austin Selleman, and Brenner again right back down to the low side. In towards 3 and 4, going to take the lead right back. So swapping the lead back and forth are the 18 and the 70 as they're coming to 2 laps to go in this second heat race. Selleman back down to the bottom and back to the point through 1 and 2, and Brenner gets it turned back to the bottom again down the back straightaway. Selleman trying to hold on top, but Brenner has a short trip to the apex through 3 and 4. White flag wave at the iRacing starter stand, and Brenner has the lead at the line. Selleman will take it again through 1 and 2, and Brenner will make that low line move stick once again through the icicle 1 and 2. In through 3 and 4, Brenner noses into the race lead, and through the final sequence of corners, Selleman will try to hook it up top, drag race to the line. But who's going to actually be the one to get there? It'll be Chris Brenner by 0.02 of a second. After a crazy fight for that race lead among 2 of the most fierce competitors in sprint car racing on the iRacing service. Rest of your finishing field, Nick Cooper and Bradley Cash, they round out the transfer spots, but Jesse Dawkins, Howard Weaver, Justin Thomas, and Anthony Lepresto, those are the other 4 cars who finish heat race number 2.
Yeah, and I mean, I think for me the impressive thing was that these guys were trading positions, and Nick Cooper wasn't able to catch these 2 cars. That's what was impressive to me between Brenner and Selleman, and just kind of looking at it, it seems to me that the track seems to be opening up. A little bit of a groove already hit. Now we're in that we're going to be in final heat number 3. We can only hope for another good round of racing, and I have a feeling the track is going to be opening up. This is going to be a 30-lap feature race, of course, Randy, and I have a feeling probably as long as we stay green, it's going to get real interesting towards the end of this race.
So the first heat was really good. The second heat definitely topped the first one. Let's see who the third heat has in stores. The 52 of James Eden from that third base bar and grill machine had the pole position over David Heileman. David putting in one of his best qualifying performances of the season. You have another Selleman starting in third in a heat race. This time it's Dylan with Robert Kurtstetter in that 4th spot. Weston Newell and Phil Diaz in 5th and 6th with Britton Roxbury and Michael Sheridan rounding out the 8-car field here in heat race number 3. So it's going to be up to that 52 machine out in front, Cam, but you have a lot of, this is somewhat similar to that last heat race. I'd argue a bit of inconsistency up and down this field, even some names we haven't seen much of, such as Dylan Selman.
Yeah, most certainly in the pace truck, getting ready to pull in for the final time for the heats. As, Edens, let's see what he can do. Edens has been putting on good races, good consistency. That bright yellow and purple machine has been good for both the late models and now for the sprint cars. And, he'll have David Heilman on the outside, and Heilman's had some speed depending on the track, too.
Definitely the situation. Chasing some technical issues on our side, but you still have Cam and I, so enjoy the radio-style broadcast, at least for heat race number 3. iRacing safety truck to the safety of pit road. James Edens checks the field up just a little bit on the start, and there's drama already. I believe it's Weston Newell who gets checked up and goes all the way to the back of the field. But James Edens is clear out in front. David Heilman second. Dylan Selman cycles into third, and Robert Kurtstetter, I believe, is shuffled into the fourth spot with Phil Diaz on the opening lap, up one and in that fifth position. Driver has been very consistent in these sprint cars. Works through 1 and 2, and your top 3 have broken away, so it's going to be between Kurtstetter and Diaz to fight it out for this transfer spot.
Yeah, and it was Britton Roxbury who took the brunt of that damage. He has pulled it into the infield. He is going to be done for the heat. He's going to have to make it happen to last chance qualify. Heilman on the inside, that VLR machine. Now, this is what I've been waiting for, as Dylan Selman's now rocking that outside line, Randy, and how I'm looking at it right now is that outside is going to end up coming through here because, well, we've got 1, 2, 3. They're all right bunched up together, Randy, and Dylan Selman, he's got the pass on the outside. That's what I've been waiting for. The outside line seems to be getting quick as they're running up to the cushion.
Heilman and Selman were wheel-to-wheel for a couple of laps, and Selman is the one who's going to win it out there. Let's see. One Selman brother ran through the field in that second heat race. Can another one do it in the third? Dylan working down the back straightaway in towards 3 and 4. Tries to get underneath that leader of the 52 of James Edens. Not quite able to do it just yet, as David Heilman still lurking there in the third spot. Bottom groove through 1 and 2. David's going to throw the slider. Cuts right up in front of Dylan, and down this back straightaway. Contact between Heilman and Selman. That's going to stack up right into Robert Kurtstetter. So second, third, and fourth on the racetrack get all piled into one another. They head down the front straightaway. 2 laps remaining here in the final heat race of the night. The 52 of James Eden has been able to break away. Meanwhile, Michael Sheridan has cycled into that 5th spot. Phil Diaz has gotten shuffled back to 6. So if there's any incident, it'll be the 21 car who will be the beneficiary. In towards 1 and 2 for the final time. It's going to be James Edens who leads by about 0.4 of a second. Dylan Selman still comfortably in that second spot as they roll in towards 3 and 4. A little bit of a slider maybe coming from Heilman, but not nearly close enough. James Edens will win heat race number 3 with Dylan Selman in second. David Heilman and Robert Kurtstetter will round out your transferees with Sheridan, Diaz, Newell, and Roxbury rounding out the 8-car field in that one. So a bit of drama early, Cam, but overall a little bit of an excitement, and Dylan Selman showing some life considering the few races we've seen him in this season.
Yeah, he's able to get right back up to speed. I was kind of Kurtstetter there as pictures coming into your eyes here on the feed, but I was expecting Kurtstetter, and they all got bunched up for him to swing out on the outside, but he did the right thing. He backed off, and we've seen time and time again, Randy, perhaps drivers not backing off and causing incidents, so good on Kurtstetter, but alternatively, wasn't able to get those positions. But either way, we're getting ready for that consolation race. Top 8 going to be running through, and it's going to be Rusty Kruger leading ourselves through here. A couple of names you don't normally see on the front row.
Definitely a situation. We heard your chants and we heard the fists on desk of we want video, and we got it back. Let's take a look at the starting grid for the B main tonight. Rusty Kruger on that pole position with Jesse Dacus on the outside of that front row. Michael Sheridan and Dan Smolders on row number 2. Howard Weaver and Phil Diaz. Couple, let's say, stalwarts of consistency thus far this season. They're on row 3. Adam Elby and Justin Thomas, row 4. Weston Newell and Ryan Pace on row 5. Anthony LaPresto and Britton Roxbury on row number 6. And Toby DeBill is in the Matthew McKinney starting spot, starting dead last. That worked out at Williams Grove for McKinney, so that means Toby DeBill officially transfers at the end of this one.
I don't think so. This is not. This isn't Williams Grove. This isn't how any of the other tracks go. This is Knoxville. It's high speeds. Everybody puts their wings to the max, and we'll see how these cars go around this circuit with the absolute those 410 cubic engines absolutely screaming. But for Rusty Kruger, as long as he gets a decent jump, Randy, he should have a good and clean run to corner number 1.
Never count your chickens before they hatch, though, because these last chance qualifiers have brewed drama. iRacing safety truck lets them loose. Rusty Kruger waits just a little bit. That's going to stack the field up. I expect drama through this opening lap. The 10 car is clear and gone, though. Jesse Dawkins shuffled back to 21, and Michael Sheridan, I think, got into the back of the 10 car. Through corners number 3 and 4, and big, or 1 and 2, we have a huge incident on the back straightaway. Phil Diaz involved, and Jesse Dawkins involved as well. So your second place starter goes up and over, as well as Phil Diaz, who started in the 6th spot. So 2 of your drivers who held transfer spots, pretty much night done.
Yeah, and this basically started going through 3 and 4. Jesse Dacus went way outside, and he clipped that right rear, and he just really was not able to get any traction. He was in the dirt. He was loose. He was just swinging it back and forth like a pendulum. Finally, the car gripped, and he just cut right in front of the field. Nothing Jesse could really do outside of maybe backing out. That would put him in the wall. And once he collected the field, I mean, you got to think again. Whenever I think of unfortunate incidents, for some reason, Randy, I keep thinking of Phil Diaz. It seems like he's always getting involved in these incidents, and he doesn't have anything to do with them.
Yeah, it seems to be the situation. I don't think there's been too many accidents we've seen Phil be a part of that can really point the finger and say you were the cause. Rusty Kruger, though, still leads this last chance qualifier with Michael Sheridan in that 2nd spot, who looked very racy on the opening couple laps and has slowly been reeling in that 10 car. So we might see a fight out in front here if the 21 can get there. Dan Smulders and Adam Elby represent your top 4. Elby looks down to the bottom of Dan Smulders through 1 and 2, but can't get the job done quite yet. And you know what? I think if I'm in the top 4, I'm not going to fight too hard for it. Weston Newell, Britton Roxbury, Ryan Pace, and Anthony LaPresto, they are your top 8 transferees as they currently sit on the racetrack, as Kruger still holds that race lead. The 21 lost a little bit of ground after throwing that little bit of a move through that last trip around the racetrack, and I think that's going to likely calm down your top 3, top 4 just a little bit. But as they say, that Dan Smulders, he wants that 2nd spot, tries to run the low line off turn 4, just too slick there coming off the exit to hold the car down that tight.
Yeah, no, and I've noticed Adam Elby, his right rear has been clipping on going into corner number 1. The track seems to be wearing to that point where that high side is kind of to that point where you got to kind of swing the car going right into the corner, and you got to be basically touching that wall. And for some of these drivers, they're going to start clipping that outside wall. Adam Elby's had a good couple of clean laps, though. Over the last couple of laps, he wants to get his way through the main, and right now the golden boy is Anthony LaPresto, and he really doesn't have anything to worry about. There's Toby DeVille. As we were saying, perhaps maybe he could get a transfer spot if somebody has an issue, which, you know, with 5 laps to go, Randy, could certainly still happen.
Yeah, it is definitely something to see at my local racetrack. We had a representative spot based on a historical driver at that local track called the Ed Hale position. It was always the alternate for the heat races here. We might have the Matt McKinney spot, which is dead last in these last chance qualifiers, because Matt tends to find an act of running his way through a field. Out in front though, Rusty Kruger still leads the way. Things are getting a little racy for 2nd and 3rd. Michael Sheridan and Dan Smulders in the 2-1 and the 2-1-1, if that's not confusing for you, head down the front straightaway. Last couple laps of this last chance qualifier coming at you. Currently working lap 13 of 15, and Smulders wants that 2nd spot the way he's racing.
Yeah, most certainly, and these guys aren't racing for points. It's only for where their starting position is going to be, so these guys don't need to race too hard. I think they're searching for the grip, see how the car races. Adam Elby, I saw him dive down a little bit to the inside, but he obviously went right back up top, as I believe the inside line for now is going to be gone, as Weston Newell is there, and here comes Britton Roxbury throwing a massive slider, but there's nothing in it. He's not able to catch anywhere at all in that 222 of Weston Newell.
White flag here for the last chance qualifier, and it's all Rusty Kruger down the back straightaway. Your top 8 have pretty much lined up here, but no one's really in a situation to really throw much of a move. Brent Roxbury is going to try, but Rusty Kruger will win at this last chance qualifier after 15 laps of action. Your transferees will be Rusty, Michael Sheridan, Dan Smulders, Adam Elby, Weston Newell, Britton Roxbury, Ryan Pace, and Anthony Lepresto. The drivers who go home at the end of the night, drivers who got caught up in a bit of the trouble, honestly, Toby DeBille, Jesse Dawkins, Howard Weaver, Justin Thomas, and Phil Diaz. Those drivers here will not make the show. They'll be having to watch these 20 drivers duke it out for 30 laps here around one of the most historic sprint car racing establishments in the United States. We are going to step away, though, for just a short break. Huge thank you to everyone who's tuning in on the iRacing Esports Network as well as on Dirt Vision, but do not go away. We will be back in under a minute.
Did you know your DirtVision.com account gives you free access to our on-demand video library? From the DirtVision.com homepage, click on On-Demand Video near the top right of the screen. And from there, countless hours of World of Outlaws footage awaits at your fingertips. Watch every lap of the current World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series season.
Sheldon Hodge looking for a run. Dives low into turn 3, slide job! Sheldon Hodge shield to the cushion. Johnson turns it back underneath him, but Sheldon leads lap 23.
Or dive into some of the historical options with videos in our Classics section.
He has clear visibility, comes off the fourth turn in the clear, and leads lap number 1.
It's all available free and on demand on DirtVision.com.
It is time. The warm-up for the feature has come to an end. 20 of the best sprint car drivers that pulled in here to Knoxville are getting ready to get lined up for 30 laps of action. A driver favorite here at the sprint car capital of the world, and it's shown tonight with some of the best heat racing action that we've seen all season long, and that's 100% going to transfer to the feature event. RaceSpot TV broadcasting live on the iRacing Esports Network and on Dirt Vision are proud to bring you the feature event for the 7th round of the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Championship Series. And let's take a trip down your starting grid. Out on front, it's Matthew McKinney starting on the pole with Chris Brenner on the outside of that front row. James Edens and Alex Bergeron will make up row 2, while it's all brotherly love on row 3 with Austin and Dylan Selman. Tim Ryan and Nick Cooper are going to be on row number 4 with David Heileman and AJ Neben on row number 5. Bradley Cash and Robert Kurtzetter on row 6 with Rusty Kruger and Michael Sheridan on row number 7. Dan Smulders, Adam Elby going to be lining up on row 8 with Weston Newell and Britton Roxbury on row 9 with Ryan Pace and Anthony Lepresto rounding out the 20-car field for this evening. 20 cars, 30 laps. Things are about to get crazy, Cam. What's your prediction? An interesting driver that we don't typically see out in front at the starts of these races are on the poles. Drivers we normally see on the front are starting in the middle of the field. This is going to get crazy.
Yeah, and we don't even have Howard Weaver in this one or Philip Diaz. So, I mean, you got to think here. What is going to happen? Jesse Dacus, who was right up front at that last chance qualifier, not making it as well. So what is going to happen here? Who is going to have the speed as the track is going to fall away very quickly on that outside line until it starts getting to be a dance on the razor's edge? Somebody's going to have to find the inside line. That means we're going to get into Slide Job City.
That's what I suspect. We've seen that sort of outer line slowly come into the fray, but things are getting slicker and slicker up top. So how long is it going to be until that bottom groove come in? And of course, these guys up at the front likely have the cars a little bit more dialed in. They might be able to be a little bit more racy with one another. Only time is going to tell. Matt McKinney leads the field behind the iRacing safety truck, and he's going to get ready to be the control car through the center of 3 and 4. Once that truck pulls down on towards pit road, 30 laps of action on the board, and McKinney wastes no time. We are green for the feature event here in the 7th round of the World of Outlaw Craftsman Sprint Car Championship Series, and the 51 and the 52 immediately begin getting out. 3 wide as well for 4th as they work their way down the back straight.
Yeah, and AJ Nevin and Michael Sheridan decided to end their nights early by parking their cars into the outside retaining wall. AJ Nevin, his incident was caused by his left rear tapping Rusty Kruger, and that sent him spiraling into the infield. And then once they saw that happening, Adam Elby decided to park into the rear of Michael Sheridan, and well, that caused the second car to go spinning upward into the air.
And trying to see what actually caused that secondary incident, I thought at first Sheridan might have gotten all over the brakes for that incident out in front. That doesn't seem to be the case at all. I think Michael just getting on it, he sort of just drove right through the slick stuff coming to the green and was basically fishtailing down the front straightaway. The 74 car really had nowhere to go. Car's just behind him. He can't really just jab on the brakes, but got a car fishtailing back and forth. He can't really avoid him either. So 2 cars out early in 2 completely unrelated incidents.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, I have a feeling perhaps there was a little bit of reaction from Sheridan with the incident unfolding in front of him, but not really. I mean, he just got devoured from behind, and I have to say, it's one of those situations now where James Edens, who had a great start on the inside, starting in P3, he's now going to be starting in P2, Randy, and I'm not necessarily sure if he's going to be appreciating that.
It's going to be interesting to see. It sort of depends what you prefer, whether you prefer being just behind that race leader or if you like having clean track up top. Because the one thing that it will be nice with that is you are kind of guaranteed at least getting a good line here, unless the 70 car completely times the restart, in which case you'll likely have that 70 car trying to slide you in towards 1 and 2. That said, lights are out on the control truck, which means that we are going green right here, right now. They roll down that back straightaway and in towards 3 and 4. So we only lasted about half a lap there before 2 incidents took hold. Let's see if we can go for longer. The 51 gets ready to get back on it. Green flag flies. Chris Brenner, not a good restart at all. James Edens will have full control, but no, he fishtails. Much the same way we saw in the back of the field on that restart. So from second back down to about 4th or 5th, and that's going to stack the field up. And we're immediately back to yellow as Bradley Cash gets caught out in that incident.
And Bradley Cash has decided now to flip his machine going into corner number 1. I have a feeling that this is becoming a theme, hopefully not. Seems to me that the outside line is so worn in. When people try to get on the power, there's nothing there. There's not really enough of a cushion to pull a Logan Seavey. So they basically just eat that Armco and, cartwheel. Now, Bradley Cash's car might be okay enough, but he's sitting way in the back now. Yeah, whomever's on that outside line, Randy, just is not getting a good start.
Seems like it. I think they're just maybe a little bit too aggressive. The thing that's interesting, though, Cam, is that both cars that we've seen really get into incidents, one of them fishtailed a little bit, but Bradley Cash, he's kind of fishtailing that car all the way down in there. It sort of didn't hit the wall until he got the corner entry. So it's one of those things that, when you're as experienced as these guys, you should be able to sort of deal with that. When this track gets this slick, kind of got to know when you need to take your foot off the throttle. And I have a feeling those drivers we've seen already make big contact with the wall. I'd wager if we looked at their telemetry, that foot was planted all the way until they hit that wall.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was probably dancing on, off, between, 100% and, 80, 85%. But I will say, we're almost a third of the way here, and we haven't really had a green flag lap. That's unfortunate. I mean, easy for Matt McKinney. I mean, hey, instead of worrying about now, running 30, he's got to worry about running 20, but he's got Alex Bergeron starting behind him, Chris Brenner starting his outside, and for James Edens, well, he's back to the inside line. Let's see if people can get these cars rolling here. That outside line, if I was running that outside line and I knew I was restarting, I would try to get my car as low as, the guy on the inside would let me go.
That's what you're going to have to do. You're either going to have to get low or find as much good dirt up top, or you're going to have to be very patient with that throttle pedal with 800 and some odd horses underneath that right foot. Matt McKinney gets the jump. Chris Brenner gave him all sorts of room there. Not sure why Chris is being that passive. That's going to allow Bergeron to immediately take that second spot away, but at least for the front couple positions. We are cleared through turn 1. James Edens and Chris Brenner, though, they're going to make a bit of contact, and Edens locked way down on the inside, going to try to slide up in front of a couple of these guys, and we are green through our first green flag lap, 10 laps into this thing.
And here comes Alex Bergeron, but he's got nothing in it. The outside line, as risky as it may be, is the fast one. But here comes Bergeron again. He eats a little bit of that curve that slows him down just enough to allow Matt McKinney to rocket past that 51 car, looking pretty all right. But that up curve, that entire berm cushion, that was the word I was looking for, is completely wasted now. And basically, a lot of these cars are now starting to dance their Nerf bars on that field wall there, and that's not what you want to start doing. That starts getting risky as now Bergeron and McKinney are doing the dance, the slide job that we saw in heat number 2, and Randy, it's getting to that point where there's no grip anywhere on this track.
Definitely looking like it as Bergeron had the lead for a moment, but he's not going to be able to hold on to it. McKinney takes it right back through on the exit of 1 and 2. A little bit of contact with the wall, I think, for the 51 of Matt McKinney as they run down the back straightaway. The 12 of Bergeron still stalking, as well as the 70 of Chris Brenner. As passive as he was on the start, he's getting aggressive here. Bergeron, contact with the outside wall on the exit of turn number 4. That's going to make the 70 car have to check up just a little bit and give Matt just a little bit of breathing room. So the fight for second and third going to fierce up as Bergeron leaps right back down to the bottom grid and tries to take that spot away, but nothing going just yet. That needs to wait a little bit longer, I think, for that outside line to fall off, and Bergeron tries to throw the move again, but still can't get it done.
One on the wall. Back, it was probably 8 or 9 cars back now. I think it was one of your front runners. Not quite sure whom it was, but at least somebody decided to park that outside wall. But you know what? We stayed green. Everyone was able to keep it all right, and I think that is the big thing we need to take away. It might have been Dylan Semmelman or Nick Cooper, one or the other. I was going to say, for me, the thing that I'm pointing out is James Edens, that number 52 machine. There's basically nothing there as these guys are still fighting Randy for the lead. They're still swapping back and forth. And I think perhaps Bergeron might have it, but here comes Chris Brenner.
He has it, so Matt McKinney has dropped back into the second spot where he finished at Williams Grove. His caution is going to end up flying. Let's see what ends up causing this trouble. I see the 17 car of AJ Neben slow, but no, it wasn't him.
Bradley Cash, perhaps?
Let's see.
Nope, not Bradley.
Probably a half spin somewhere that we missed that just triggered the yellow. Oh, there it was. We had a car upside down on the back straightaway. He just towed it really quick. Actually, no, he got back on the wheels. It was Ryan Pace in the 44. Took a bit of a dance on the right side tires after contact with the 211. Tumbling a little bit and then right back up on the wheels did that number 44 car. So that's going to reset the field. To have Bergeron out in front and McKinney up on that outside row on that front row. Brenner's, who's been aggressive, is going to be on that good dirt down low. David Heileman, who's done a good job running his way through this field cam up into the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tim Ryan basically nowhere to be found. James Edens, he's having struggles trying to find grip himself. So it's interesting to see who rises to the top. And one of the most aggressive drivers you can possibly find in all the land, Alex Bergeron, has gotten himself up to the lead. I mean, his car, it seems to be quite hooked up for this slick, loose type of racing. And he seems, of course, we know from both experience and from doing these series for enough seasons that Alex is, he seems to be a very comfortable and cool customer when it comes to rocking and rolling here in loose situations.
Definitely is, as these guys are going to get ready to let him loose once again. Lights out on the iRacing safety truck. 5 miles of racing left to go. How aggressive are they going to be out in front? And can Alex Bergeron hold on, or will Matt McKinney be able to take a win away? iRacing safety truck gets ready to let them loose. Will we be green to the end? It's all in the 12 car. McKinney tries to time it, not able to do so, but he's on the outside unpreferred line. He's going to fall back to that 4th spot, 5th spot, maybe even more. It's the 70 of Brenner takes hold of that 2nd position. David Heileman slots into the 3rd position as the mid-pack is crazy, but out in front it's going to be the fight for second as caution flies.
That's Adam Elby. He was in 9th position, the 74 car. And I just think coming to the restart, Austin Semmelman, he was doing that thing, Randy, as you were talking about earlier. We're getting on the throttle. He just, actually, you know what? Austin seemed to have traction and grip. I think Adam just had a bit of speed coming out the outside, riding the curb. But you got to know that 18 car is going to be coming up to the wall.
Yeah, that is something you need to be aware of. I don't know, that's a tough one to call for sure. The 74 tried to slide it up there, but I don't know, that one's tough to call. But regardless, there's a couple different incidents in general in that sort of whole, because right behind them you had the 27 get into it as well. So a couple big contacts on that restart. We're going to be going green hopefully to the end of the race.
Well, hopefully. And for Bergeron, I mean, again, he's got that inside line. Chris Brenner's going to be outside. David Heilman, where is Heilman going to go? Is he going to go early? I have a feeling Heilman's probably going to try to put a slider on Bergeron. Is Bergeron, I have a feeling, is going to easily box out Chris Brenner? Is Chris Brenner going to get enough grip to cover Heilman? And if Heilman is able to get the speed, is he going to be able to make the jump and attack Bergeron?
That's going to be the big question. We've, of course, had McKinney, who's fallen back to 4th. So the big thing to that 51 car, Cam, is that he's lost ground from his last restart, but he's still going to be on that unpreferred line for the restart in all that blue lane on that high line. So he's just going to be deeper in the field on bad tarmac, or excuse me, on bad dirt. This might be the 5 car's opportunity to slip up into the top 2.
Yeah, most certainly. And I mean, for James Edens and Tim Ryan, they're both starting on the inside as well. So perhaps here with 5, 6, it'll be 5 to go when they take the green. We'll get some good old-fashioned action here in Knoxville.
So through corners number 3 and 4, lights out on the iRacing safety truck coming to the restart with 6 laps to go. The 12 of Alex Bergeron is on it. Brenner not able to get the jump. Heileman's going to be able to slide in a second. What happens for the rest of the field, though, as 70 slots into the 3rd position? You have, I believe that's James Edens down low trying to make something happen. Stack up in the mid-pack once again. Bit of contact, cars upside down. I think that might be Dylan Silverman. Oh, you're right, it is Nick Cooper. They have very similar paint schemes. The 35 machine upside down the back straightaway. It just seems to be the same story over and over, Cam, and at this point, you know, they tried to go nearly 4 wide coming off turn 2. That's only one thing, and that's just strictly a lack of patience.
Yeah, and I think for Nick Cooper, I mean, he really had nowhere to go. He had a car in front of him, that was Matt McKinney. And for Dylan Semmelman, he really wanted to get on in there, and he had some speed. But when you have the speed, it doesn't really matter when there's nothing you can do. I mean, you have Tim Ryan on the inside, Nick Cooper on the outside. You're not going to shoot 3 wide coming off the exit of corner number 4, corner number 2, excuse me. So yeah, that's a patience thing, and now I am not necessarily sure. We're gonna get what, maybe 2, 3 laps?
I think that's gonna be the situation here as these guys roll down the back straightaway, waiting for this light to go out so we can get confirmation. Because right now it's lap number 27 of 30, so they're coming to 3 to go, which means that we're gonna get 2 to go at most. Let's see, if the lights go out this time, it'll be a 2 lap to go restart. If it's next time, it'll be a 1 to go restart. So as the iRacing safety truck rolls down, these guys are starting to form them up. I think we're gonna have 2 laps to finish this thing out.
Well, it'll be a, what is that, the dash for the cash is what they call it when they go out and only do a couple of laps. Let's see what they're able to do. I mean, for Bergeron, he should be able to get the jump. It's where's Brenner going to be in all of this, and where's Matt McKinney? I mean, we got to remember, McKinney has had speed. These guys do have the adjustable wings, Randy. They should be putting them to where they can get the most grip. They can get as much on that right rear, and I'll see what happens.
So let's see what happens. Wings likely going to be put all the way to rearward to try to keep traction on that big fat right rear tire. Heileman's all the way up in the tacky stuff, trying to get as much traction as he can, tries to time it, actually does a decent job of it, so they're going to go wheel to wheel for the race lead for a moment. Do the teammates. Bergeron's going to have it though, in towards 1 and 2. Heileman up top, Bergeron hicks up just a little bit. That might open the door for somebody if we can keep it green. Brenner makes a little bit of wheel to wheel contact with a 51 of Matt McKinney, who I think is going to go around in front of the field. Can we get to the line? Yes, we can. So a pile up on the front straightaway, but we're going to stay green. Alex Bergeron leads down the back straightaway for the final time. David Heileman in towards 3 and 4. Can he get the job done? Tries to throw the slider. Goes into the lead for a moment, but no. Bergeron will have the run. He will win here at Knoxville.
Yeah, and I think for Heilman, I got to get my hat off for him right now. There, he tried to stay that inside line to where he could perhaps punch the throttle and see if he could punch. If he wanted to, he really could have slung that number 5 machine and just dragged it up the track and parked it right in front of Bergeron and probably would have took them both out. But instead, he went, you know what, my best bet is going to be see if I can get that grip on the inside. So good on him. Unfortunate about that big old incident, but for Alex Bergeron, I mean, hey, he made that pass for the lead under green flag racing. You got to hand it to him.
Yeah, that was very well done by the 12 of Alex Bergeron, and all these people that maybe cry that the tracks aren't that racy maybe need to learn to run like that 12 car. Let's take a quick look, though, down the post-race results as Alex Bergeron pulls another win out of his hat. That's going to put him, I think, maybe into the race lead. David Heilman in that second spot with Chris Brenner in third, Britton Roxbury in fourth, and James Edens round out the top 5. Championship leader Tim Ryan going to come home in 6th. Bergeron will definitely close the gap there. Dylan Selman in 7th. Anthony Lepresto up 12 spots, 20th into 8th. Dan Smulders 9th, and Ryan Pace rounds out the top 10. Robert Kurtstetter, Rusty Kruger, Wiston Newell, and Austin Selman represent the 14 finishers on the night. Matt McKinney, AJ Neben, Adam Elby, Bradley Cash, Nick Cooper, and Michael Sheridan round out the 20 car field in this 30-lap feature event. Don't go away. We will be back in just a moment on RaceSpot TV for post-race coverage.
Courage at the mile. What part did courage play in this victory?
Kinzer going into the corner, trying to get by Dale Waxo, makes contact.
Hell of a lot, I'll tell you that right there.
So many times, everybody had lost track. Look at how it shot up on the center track.
Tell you what, that was some close races at a high speed.
The World of Outlaws create memories for fans every night. Now share your favorite Outlaw moment on social media. Whether it was 1978, 1998, or 2018, we want to know, what's your Outlaw moment? Did you sneak into a victory lane picture? Get whiplash driving past a parking lot full of crews at work? Or maybe you simply got to meet your favorite driver in the pits after the races. Tweet it, Instagram it, just use the hashtag #MyOutlawMoment. You might even hear Voice of the Outlaws Johnny Gibson share your memory at the track. Don't delay, start posting today. Let us know with My Outlaw Moment.
Welcome back here to RaceSpot TV, streaming live on iRacing Live and on Dirt Vision. It was a bit of an interesting night tonight for the World of Outlaw Craftsman Sprint Car Championship Series. Bit of a night of two stories. Fantastic racing in the heat race. Drama picking up in the last chance qualifier, and caution laps pretty much dominating the feature race. But the end of it all, it was the 12 machine of Alex Bergeron who takes hold and wins after 30 laps of action.
Yeah, I know.
Now we have that 12 car who's speaking a little bit to David Heilman in the green room, but that's okay. We won't hold it against him too much. Alex, you end up taking victory here after not qualifying as good as we typically see you do. Qualified a little bit deeper in the field than I think you're even used to, but you managed to hold on and make moves when they count and pick up 3 spots to make to pick up the win tonight. How was that 12 car this evening?
Oh, definitely fast. We had a good battle there, me and Matt. That was awesome in the middle of the race. It was clean and fast up top, and it was kind of a hard time to go up there and just get the cushion correctly. And the bottom was a bit slower, and you know I made the good moves and just wait for the good opportunities and just get the good moves and just end up with a good finish tonight. So that's gonna be good for a championship.
You mentioned that bottom line, and the other thing that we saw the bottom actually be somewhat raceable. It just seemed to me that you either had to know how to wheel it or you had to have the car set up right, because some people were able to make passes down there. We did see that up and down the field. We had some green flag racing. What did you have to do to the car in order to make that bottom groove work? Because you made the pass down there for the race lead.
Yeah, well, it depends. I didn't change much. I just I usually use the same setup as Austin used tonight, so I just use my throttle control on the bottom, and you know, I don't remember did any changes on it really, and just trying to go for the win, and I used the top side of my advantage tonight. Austin was fast too. I mean, he was up front with us, and I think he got caught up in the accident or something, but he was definitely up front too, so he could have won too. I mean, it's the bottom really. It's you gotta be patient with the throttle really, and just I made that slide job line work because staying down the bottom would be a little bit slow on exit, and you would really get too much time. You know, you lost so much time running the top on entry that it was better to run the slide job line in 1 and 2 and just staying up top 3 and 4, and I made it work for myself, so pretty happy with the result tonight.
We've already seen it twice in the late models. It's already done and dusted on that championship, but we have 2 stops of this track coming up in the Sprint Car Series. Volusia is in 2 weeks' time. What do you think we're going to see there?
Just patience, pretty much what it is. At the end of the season like this is just get some good championship points and hopefully to finish in top 5 every race till the rest of the season, and hopefully we'll end up on top. That's the goal for both championship. We'll try to do everything we can. The last like part of the season, it's very tough to compete with these guys. It's the best of the best out there, and no, I mean qualifying. You see, it's just very close between lap times. It's incredible.
Thanks for joining us, Alex. Congratulations on a big win. This is hugely impactful for you in the championship. Before we let you go, who gets it done for that 12 car at VLR?
Well, definitely VLR, always being there for us and for me, really. And all my sponsors, my partners, Myra Inc., Their Car Racing, Their Collective, RacingDude.com, BK Designs for an amazing car, looking car in the broadcast. It's thank you, Bub. And hey, Gary Robinson for sparring tonight. Thank you to him and all my friends watching tonight. Shout out to them, and it was a good time. Hopefully they all enjoyed, and you guys as well. And you guys for broadcasting, and we'll have Outlaws for putting this on, and we'll see you next week.
Well, we'll see you next week as well. Next in line, we have for the post-race coverage, the 5 of David Heilemann. He came home in second, had a very good night tonight, 9th up to that second spot. Cam has stood by with him.
Yeah, it's not just David Heilemann, it is the David Heilemann as the number 5 machine. Well, there was, of course, the 29 laps working up to that last little duel there. You started on the outside. The outside line seemed to be a bit of a red arrow. It seemed to be where no matter what happened, whomever it was starting on that outside, nobody was able to make it click. You almost got on at the same time as Alex Bergeron, just a little bit less on the traction. Take me through that last restart and those last couple of laps.
Yeah, it was. I had such a good run on Chris the restart before that, and kind of figured he might throw a slagger back on me if I left the door open for him, but was able to get to Alex. I think I was just praying to at least get to the white flag then, so we could finish it under green. But then going into the 1 and 2 on the last lap, I hadn't really had a chance to run up there and enter really high yet, so I kind of screwed that up. Was kind of able to get some momentum out of 2. But then I hit the wall also. I turned it down to the bottom and just. I don't know. I just didn't want to send it on Alex and wreck us both, so I just took the bottom and was trying to get what I could get, and rocking home second. Ain't too bad.
No, second ain't bad at all, especially when you were starting in 9th position. And I mean, going over this race, Knoxville, super quick, lightning fast. You're dancing that top side once the track starts going away. How did you know when to start searching for grip? I mean, throughout the heats, the track was completely new, ready to go. By the time it got to that consolation, and then obviously with the warm-up and everything like that, when did you start making that decision to start going through, and how'd you have the old sprint car set up to get ready for taking advantage of the fresh dirt, or get ready for the longer run?
No, it really wasn't set up for a fresh track. That's why I was kind of disappointed in those first 2 early cautions, because then I thought the track wasn't going to get very slick, and it's kind of what I was more aimed towards. So I was kind of worried after by lap 10 I was still back in 8th, and I didn't think the track was going to change much more.
All right, well, David, congratulations on your second place finish. Anyone you'd like to give a thanks to back in the old team?
Thanks to all guys at Team VLR. Congrats to Alex for winning it. Thanks for Race Squad putting on all the High Maniacs out there watching. Check out my YouTube channel, IMD33. Upload some iRacing, a couple other games also. So
Well, there is no other game but iRacing. So, no. Either way, David, thanks so much for hopping in the booth with us. Yeah. Yes, the simulator. Either way, thank you. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Volusia.
Yep, see you.
So that's the David Heilman. And, I mean, Randy, he's probably the closest I've seen anyone to gunning on a restart, but just wasn't able to get it done here today at Knoxville.
Yep, it's definitely unfortunate for him, but like you said, he was one of the most aggressive and one of the most successful in that regards. But another driver who seemed to be able to sort of time the aggressiveness was actually that 70 Chris Brenner. And talking about this, Chris, I mean, you had a pretty good run tonight. Started second, ended up coming home in third. And there's a couple points tonight where you definitely seemed to be a little bit more passive, saying, you know what, I'm okay dropping a spot or two. And a couple other times where you were like, okay, you know what, I need to pick up the aggression and get these spots right here, right now. How do you sort of discern in the race car on the fly like that, whether it's the time to go or whether it's the time to just sort of be calm?
Well, I just generally don't like to take a lot of risks as it is. I didn't really see any opportunities really any time during the race except for the end there with McKinney trying to get by me there on the restart. Just played it safe, and that attitude and racecraft has gotten me a few top threes here.
Definitely has, and you're picking up the momentum in the championship late in the season, which is always a nice thing to have. But thanks for joining us, Chris. Congratulations on the third place finish, and momentum starting to swing in your favor. Before we let you go, who gets it done for that number 70 car?
Thanks a lot, guys. Can't thank my teammates at UW Motorsports enough. All the hard work they do on setting up these cars. Sponsors Wicked Cushion, Colby's Eye Paints, Next Gen Fab, and Ultimate Dirt TV. Thanks for riding with us, guys.
Well, there they are, Cam. All of our three finishers. Have a good night, Chris. Hope to see you run strong at the next sprint car outing at Volusia.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Cam, it was an interesting night of action. The heat races led us to believe the night was going to be absolutely fantastic, and unfortunately, they let us down in the feature.
We had a good consolation. I mean, despite the incident that had happened that took out, Howard Weaver and Diaz and all that. I just, when you get to that situation, the track just got so worn in that, you have to basically, you're driving a different track. And when the track is getting so worn in, you have to be so prepared for it. I'm thinking they send these guys out in the warm-up. You should be able to get enough laps in, a couple, quick 2-minute warm-up to get it worked in. But, I think for me, just looking through, we're going to go to Volusia. We have never had any sort of catastrophe happen in sprint cars at Volusia. No. So it'll get good. It'll get cleaner. And, I can just say, hopefully, fingers crossed, we do have a good run down in Florida.
Yep, let's hope so. Volusia is an interesting track. It's put on good shows in the late models. Let's hope that the sprint car guys can do the same. But that's going to do it for us here on RaceSpot TV. Next time you can catch a World of Outlaw Craftsman Championship Series round will be in 7 days' time when the late model series makes their way to the quarter-mile bull ring at Limaland Motorsports Park for their second trip to the bull ring on the season. Last time out, it was a fantastic race. Alex Bergeron took the win, and maybe we can see him get back on that streak that we saw in the early part of the year in both the sprint cars and the late models, maybe in for a bit of a twofer. We'll have to wait and see in the next week. So until then, we hope to see you all next time. Bye-bye.